What is up, Rafflitos? Welcome back to my channel. It's Saturday morning in Guyana. It is 7, actually 6:35 on a Saturday morning. Saturday the 22nd of August 2025. And we're back in this neck of the woods. We are back in Eccles. We're going to take a look at the new Demerara River Bridge. You can see the colors of the German flag behind me. Yep, those are the colors of the German flag. And we're on the bridge, the pedestrian overpass at Eccles. So what I want to do today is to give you an update on what's happening with the new Demerara River Bridge. I'm going to show you what's happening around the area. The last time we were here, I didn't get a chance to show you what was happening at the new Hyatt Hotel. So today I can show you that. Back there behind me, that is the road to Georgetown going north. That is the public road, the East Bank Public Road, looking north to Georgetown, and in the opposite direction is the public road looking south towards Temeri and Linden and Point South. So it's about 7:35, almost 6:35, almost 6:40, just after sunrise. Sunrise is about 6 a.m. here in Guyana, and I want to show you what's happening with the bridge. So let's go. So guys, yes, we're back on the East Coast. This is looking north. Did I say 22nd? It is the 23rd day of August 2025. And what I'm going to show you here is the road to Georgetown looking north along the East Bank Public Road. The arch, of course, is at Agricola. That's officially where the city boundary lies. That is where Georgetown begins, at Agricola, officially. And we're standing in Eccles. Then looking south, in this direction, you can see the public road looking south towards Temeri Airport and Point South. And glorious sight, what can we see there? The bridge has been joined. So clearly, since the last time we were here about 2 weeks ago, they seem to have found a way to connect the ramp section of the bridge to the high span section. So that is what we want to look at today. We want to see how far they've come, what have they accomplished. If you look at the end of the ramp section, where there is a blue crane, that horizontal crane connecting the high span section and the ramp section, you can see there is a bit of bridge now. There is no gap. There's no longer a gap between the high span section and the ramp. And of course, if you look further along the bridge, it's not clear whether they've actually completed this joint, but they're going to join these two sections, the two high span sections, and further south, you can see there, they seem to have joined. They have now joined the high span section with the west bank section of the bridge. So the bridge is officially connected. In other words, a person may be able to walk from one end of the bridge, from one side of the river to the other side of the river, because there are no significant gaps left, although I think this gap up close might be still open. But that's the state on the 23rd of August 2025. The bridge has been joined. There is now one continuous bridge, not for traffic yet because it is not yet open to traffic, but there is now one continuous bridge for, say, the workmen who wanted to walk from one side of the river to the other. And that is what we're going to go and take a closer look at today. That's what's happening, guys. Let me go closer and show you what's happening. This is the overpass, right? We're at the pedestrian overpass. All those German flags that line the streets are in celebration of German independence. Large German population here in Guyana. I'm kidding, guys. It's election season. It's a silly season. A lot of people are hyped up and ramped up this election cycle. And those colors, those German colors, are actually colors from one of the political parties, current ruling party. My prediction for those of you who are paying attention to this election cycle is that nobody is going to win 33 seats in government. That is, there will be no landslide victory. There will be no clear winner of this election. There will be a minority government. I think one party might win the most seats, but it's not going to be more than 20 something, maybe 25 seats. And you need 33 seats to form a government to rule this country. So one party is going to get in the 20s, maybe 25. The second party is probably going to get in the teens, maybe 17, 18 seats. And the smaller parties are going to get the rest. So we are going to have a minority government this year, which is a good thing because it means the corruption will be checked. And this is the current situation: unbridled, unharnessed, unarrested corruption in the wake of Guyana's oil and gas industry. But that's politics. Let's get back to talking about this bridge, although the bridge is now also politics. What's happening with this bridge? It's supposed to be completed by the end of August because the ruling government promised their supporters that they're going to have evidence of progress by the election day, and this is, of course, their signature project. And we've been examining it in this series of videos because it is one of the largest projects in Guyana, spending in excess of 260 million US dollars in loans from the government of China. In other words, the arrangement is that the government of China will provide the loan to build the bridge. That is the bulk of the bridge, but that comes with, in other words, the Chinese contractor will build the bridge. In other words, the Chinese contractor got the project to build this bridge because the Chinese government is financing it. And so, of course, the work crew is Chinese. They've done a little better this time than when this government tried to build the Marriott Hotel that was also built by a Chinese company. On that occasion, all of the workers, virtually everybody on this work site was Chinese, despite what they tell you, despite what certain people tell you. All of the Marriott Hotel at Kingston was built by Chinese, including the most menial of tasks. They did not give a single job to Guyanese. So, of course, everybody wants to rewrite history and tell you that that's a lie, but those are the facts. I was here, and you can actually go to my videos in the archives to see exactly how that hotel was built. That is the Marriott Hotel. Go back far enough in the archives, you will see a hole in the ground in my videos, and I've tracked that building, the construction of that building from beginning to end. So those of you who are interested in history, there is a record, a visual record in the archives of this channel, not only on the Marriott Hotel, but on several other hotels. But this set of videos is about the new Demerara Bridge, and we've been following this bi-weekly, every other week, for the past, I would say, 6 months to a year, because I discovered pretty early that the progress they were making was visible on a bi-weekly basis. In other words, once every 2 weeks, you could actually see something significant happening. And that's what we've been doing, coming back here to the East Bank Public Road and approaching the bridge, looking at the progress that has been made. Now here at the top of these pillars, the high span pillars, you can see the cranes are still there. They have not taken down the cranes. And I've always wondered at that. Does it mean that they have not finished with the height? In other words, making the bridge, making those pillars taller. My guess is that they were still probably going to add more height to these pillars, which is why they kept the cranes up and running for the last several months. Or perhaps they need those cranes to attach to the wires, right? Those are actually cables, right? So they probably need the cranes to attach the cables to the bridge. Whatever the reason, most or all those cables have been attached and the cranes are still up, which means that they've not finished working on the high span section. Let's get closer. Here we are, we're at the Echoes Assembly of God. That's the location, Echoes Assembly of God Church. And we're approaching the intersection for the road from Bagotstown to the Echoes interchange. At this intersection, we have actually crossed over this road to take a look at the bridge on the west bank of the river. We won't do that today, but we've always gone down this street to take a look at the bridge. We got a glimpse of it through that opening on the canal. Now, over here, this is the road to Echoes interchange. All right, we also looked at this road while it was being constructed. Yeah. So yeah, this is the road to the Echoes interchange. We follow this road also since its construction. I pointed out to you various errors in the design. Bagotstown. And why errors in the design can actually cause harm. In other words, can cause deadly accidents. A lot of people can't really think ahead, but that's not their job, that's my job. So those of you who can't follow, just listen. So the reason why I point out problems in the design of these roads is because the design affects safety. And for those of you who don't live in Guyana, if you're trying to understand why I'm saying the things that I'm saying, what I'm saying is you just have to follow the rest of the news of the number of deadly accidents on the roads every day in Guyana. A lot of it is driver error and bad attitudes, but also there's a lot of it that is due to poor and unsafe road design. And that's the reason why I point this out. Now you can see the rails of the new bridge. All right, you can see that yellow rail. Actually, it's over the span that passes over the East Bank Public Road, over this road. And as some people have pointed out, that is prevent people from climbing over the rails and falling onto the road below. Or maybe some other, car parts flying off vehicles and landing on the road below, on the traffic below. So that is a safety feature. The problem I have with it is that it doesn't go far enough. It probably should be tall enough to encircle the bridge, the deck of the bridge, so that there's no way to climb over it. All right, my point is that there should be no way for you to get over that section of the wall, the rail, and land on the road below. And that means, of course, better design, safer design. So those are the things I point out in the video. And some people are very defensive. They don't like you to point out breaches in safety. But for those of you who are safety conscious and thinking about your own life and limb, you want to pay attention to these descriptions that I'm giving. There's a reason why I don't drive in Guyana. People think that, driving a car is an achievement, an accomplishment. I don't see it that way. Driving a car is one of the few things you can do where you can leave your house in perfect health and end up dead before you can reach back home. That's anywhere in the world, not just in Guyana, but especially in Guyana because of the very bad driving habits, the lawlessness on the road, and the very poor road design. So I choose not to drive in Guyana because it is one less variable that I have to worry about. In other words, there are various things that you have no control over in life. Some things, however, you do have control over. And one of those things is exposing yourself to traffic driving in Guyana, and I choose not to. But this is where we are. We're now at the corner of that's the Peters Hall Junction, the bridge, Demerara Harbor Bridge, old Demerara Harbor Bridge, and the East Bank Public Road. So this is the bridge traffic. What is significant on this Saturday morning is there's no vehicles waiting to cross over to the west side. There's usually a long line of traffic here on this side, and that could mean that there is no, the bridge traffic is free. It could be the result of the fact that you no longer have to pay because there was a toll. Right, the toll is at one end. These are toll gates. The toll gate is at one end of the bridge, and the bottleneck is created because vehicles had to pay before crossing over to the other side. And now that toll has been removed, and they're allowing traffic to flow in both directions. So that's good. That's one good thing that's happened here since the last time we're here. It seems as if traffic is flowing freely across the old Demerara Harbor Bridge. Well, it's actually a nice food place here at the junction, at the Peters Hall Junction. What we're going to do is take a look at the bridge, the new Demerara Bridge, from the overpass. So this is the overpass at Peters Hall. All right, this is the overpass at Peters Hall. We're going to take a look at the bridge. This is Eccles and Ramsburg Neighborhood Democratic Council. So yes, guys, let's take another look, a closer look at the Demerara Bridge. So from the last overpass, we saw that the bridge, the section of the bridge that is connects the ramp to the high span section, that gap has been closed. So now the bridge is continuous from the east side to the west side. That's the section where the gap existed before. Today, on the 23rd day of August 2025, the gap is closed, and now the bridge, at least the sections of the bridge, are completed. Now we're looking along the ramp. This yellow, let's see if you can get a better focus on it. I'm trying to use the automatic focus on this camera. But yes, this yellow section, this yellow, can't get a better focus on it. That yellow represents the rails just across the overpass section, the part of the bridge that passes over the East Bank Public Road. And as I'm saying, it is a safety feature, but I don't think it's high enough, I don't think it's tall enough to prevent determined person from climbing over that ramp and falling onto the road below. But this is what the bridge looks like now, up closer from Peters Hall. All right, this is the Peters Hall overpass. That is Peters Hall Public Road, East Bank Public Road, looking north to Georgetown. It's about 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. That's what traffic looks like on a Saturday morning at 7 a.m. We're going to try to get closer, and in this video also show you what's happening with the new, let's see. Also show you what's happening with the new Hyatt Place Hotel, which is at Providence. So let's get closer to Providence. See if we can show you what's happening there. All right, it's down to road level again. So this is Peters Hall. That's the temple, the Hindu temple here at Peters Hall. Those of you who are fond of the architecture, Eastern architecture, there we have it here from East Asia. And of course, next door is the masjid. And that's the Peters Hall Muslim mosque. And the Middle Eastern architecture that is also present in Guyana. But let's look back at the bridge. So you can see the pillars above the roofs of the houses here in Peters Hall. And the bridge passing over those neighborhoods that were demolished. All right, you go back to the archives, you'll see some of the videos where I talk about how the neighborhoods were acquired by eminent domain by the government to build the bridge. So the bridge passes over some neighborhoods that were demolished, had to be acquired. And while the $260 million that were borrowed, so let's see, that's the masjid, Peters Hall Masjid, here at Peters Hall. Yeah, so while and this is my friend, the fruit guy. Morning.
Yeah, good morning, good morning.
Morning.
Everything shaping up nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the finish. Almost finished. Yeah. Yeah. So. All right. Fruit man giving yourself a shout out. But here we are. This is the section of the bridge that passes over this neighborhood. That was demolished. The section of the bridge that was demolished. The construction of the bridge. So that portion of the bridge now passes way above the neighborhood. To get closer, you can see, and you pass under, you can see the section. That section is where the gap existed. Has not yet been closed, and the rails, you can see, I don't know if you can see yet, but the rails only reach up to the gap, up to where the gap was located. So there's a lot of work still to be done, even though the gap has been closed. Now these are the rails. As we get closer, you can see them better. These are the rails that are supposed to prevent people and objects from falling onto the road below. All right, this is the overpass section of the bridge, and this is where they put up these new yellow rails. You can see it's a little taller than the handrails or the rails in blue and white. However, my argument is that that is probably still not tall enough, right? Because this section of the bridge passes over the east bank of the road, has added danger for the traffic below, for the people driving under the bridge, because you don't want debris and objects and people falling off the bridge and onto traffic below or onto the neighborhoods nearby. So we'll wait to see its completion and what happens afterwards. But this is where the construction work is. You can see the bridge has been joined. That is, the high span section has been joined to the ramp. The cables have been installed. I don't know if you can see the cables here in this video, but the cables have been installed as we go under the bridge, and the rails, to some extent, those are the rails have been installed on the ramp section of the bridge. Right, the rails have been installed on the ramp section, and there's a slightly taller, maybe double height yellow rail installed at the overpass section. And then of course it returns to normal height rails on the ramp, one of the longest ramps of any bridge in the world. For your work crew heading out to work, it's about 7:15, 7:30. That's looking under the bridge, looking along the ramp east as we pass under the bridge. And this is under the bridge, and that's looking west towards the west side. See, bridge is now continuous. It's now continuous with the high span section. That's where the ramp meets the high span section. As we cross into Providence, that's looking back along the ramp towards the east, towards the Heroes Highway. And now this approach road is also one of the longest approach roads in the world, 2 miles long. You have to start driving 2 miles away on that approach road to get to the bridge. And we've talked about that. We're going to go out to the east end where the bridge access road begins in the next couple of videos and see what happens. This is the Ramada Hotel, Ramada and Princess. Princess Casino. That's the poster of the bridge. Right, that's what the bridge looks like in pictures. And now we're able to compare the pictures to the real thing. We're now standing in the Providence side of the bridge, and you can see whether that bridge looks like the poster. It is massive, it's huge in person. It's one of the largest structures ever built in Guyana and possibly the Caribbean. Don't know about the South America. We are now in the southern hemisphere. That is, Guyana is. Well, we're at the equator. Guyana is about 6 degrees north of the equator. But in this neck of the woods, this is the largest structure that was ever built. At one point, this hotel, right, the Ramada Hotel used to be the largest structure in this neck of the woods, and it was huge. But now it's dwarfed in comparison to the bridge. But that's what's happening, guys. That's what's happening in this neck of the woods. The new Demerara Bridge is now continuous. Now, I can't say it's completed, but it is now continuous from East Bank to the West Bank. The Demerara Bridge is now continuous from the East Bank to the West Bank. And my guess is that in the coming weeks, we'll probably see it get completed. Whether it can be completed to be opened on the 1st, that is before Election Day, the 1st of August, which is what, 9 days away? 8 days away. Election Day is 8 days away. These guys have gotten it very close. I don't know that it can be completed in 8 days, but it certainly is close to completion. Tell me, guys, in the comments below what you think about the progress on the new Demerara River Bridge. Whether you think it's going to be completed in 8 days. What do you think about the progress they have made over the last year, 2 years, 3 years since they've started building? What are your thoughts on the quality of the work? The bridge does have an impressive aspect, and it's probably too early to comment on the finished product after it's lit up and the road markings and the traffic controls have been installed. That would be the best time to make an assessment. But tell me what you think in this video so far about the progress and the construction of the new Demerara River Bridge, location, the design, the traffic, how you think it's going to affect traffic in Guyana and the neighborhood. That's looking back at the overpass section. In the comments below, share your thoughts. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening in the fastest growing country in the world. In the next video, I'm going to show you what's happening here at Providence. But let's end this video here. Later!